pointing the logo around. Hey guys, Tech4 here. Decided I'm going to try to do something a little bit different today. Kind of want to do a quick tutorial guide video for everyone watching. Maybe you're the same league as I am, maybe lower league, or maybe one or two people out there that aren't cheesy players and actually play the game pretty legit that could actually learn from this. See, I'm a pretty cheesy player, especially against Protoss players, and this is one of the good builds I found. I'm going to show you the 25 drone Baneling bust today. Incredibly cheesy. Protoss players will get angry if you beat them with it, for the most part. Some of them will understand, but a lot of them will get really angry. But the thing is, it is really powerful and can definitely be put into your play, whether it's tournament play, ladder play. You know, it should be in your arsenal if you want a easy way to win games when you see that opportunity. I'm starting to come up with a couple of these. I know Op4 has done it. I'm going to try to get my foot in the door doing it as well. I think this would be great if we could start a series. Maybe it's just a couple of us at first, and then eventually more and more people do it. Maybe our GMs and pro team can start making a couple guides if they're willing. And really help our community share their ideas and guides on the forums. Obviously, we have a really good community with helping each other out. We have so many teams, practice groups, etc. Usually active on TeamSpeak or in game, but on the forums until just recently, we really haven't had much like StarCraft related discussion. Anyway, it's pretty much just been clan stuff. But Op4 has done a great job getting out a couple of tutorials, and you know, I'm trying to do my part as well, and eventually we'll get enough out that excuse me, I got the burps a little bit, but gonna get enough out that should spark something in our community to start doing a little more. But that's all I really have to say. I'm gonna jump right into it. Go right into the game. Again, this is the 25 drone Baneling bus. Incredibly cheesy build, incredibly powerful. I want to break down kind of how I do it. This right now is going to be taken from a replay on the ladder. It's NA ladder, high diamond. I play a lot of masters here and there. This guy, my opponent, Zynar, he's a diamond player. I won't really say too much about him. I don't want to bash him too much, but he didn't really play this game all that well. He did a few really questionable decisions, but this replay still should show really how powerful this build is and what you can actually do with it. Start off, personally, I go 11 pull, 19 hatch opening. I'm not going to get too far into that because, you know, it really works with any opening there is. It's more of a late mid-game transition into a really early, very late, early game all-in instead of an actual build order. You decide to do this after you scout. This is not something you say, oh, I'm just going to go in the game, I'm going to do this. You have to find the opportunity to do it, and it's really just punishing mistakes. I'm going to show you a little bit of something. He ends up scouting early with his probe, which is a great idea by him. Zelnaga Caverns, there's a good chance I'm going to 6-pull. Obviously, scouts I don't. However, he was going for a Forge Fast Expand to start. Like I said, I think he made some questionable decisions. Forge Fast Expand is not good on this map. This natural is incredibly wide. Forge Fast Expand, he's going to actually go to his Nexus, which you'll see in a little bit, which is the right play, and I think you're going to start to see pro players Forge Fast Expanding to their Nexus on pretty much all maps, except for maybe Shakuras, since the ramp is really wide, because it ends up being so much safer. Especially if I do get past the wall. Say, picture a different map where the Forge Fast Expand might happen out here. If I get past the wall and start hitting back here, you know, your cannon's not going to help. So I think Forge Fast Expanding to the Nexus is starting to become more popular, especially after this build maybe gets out there a little bit. It's been experimenting a little bit on ladder here and there, but I don't think it's all that powerful, all that popular, I should say. Especially compared to taking a quick third or Mutalist play. A couple things to keep in mind when you are going to do this play. You really got to catch your opponent by surprise. You really got to scout to make sure you actually have the opening to do this. I see his cannons back here. Plus, on this map, I would gonna do it anyway. What was the first thing I said? I just explained scout the opening. Remember, a couple things you got to keep in mind. Anyway, oh, keep in mind the map. what map are you playing on? No, the other thing. Other thing you have to keep in mind, I got it. It was, make sure you catch your opponent by surprise. If he scouts it, all he has to do is throw up a couple extra cannons and prepare, and he will completely stop it dead. Make sure you're being really secretive when you do this, and play the best standard game, looking anyway, that you possibly can. Again, like I said, I think he made some questionable decisions. This cannon, it should be up here. This is another reason why I went for this. I mean, I don't think I actually scouted that cannon, to be honest. I won't lie to you. Let's see. No, I didn't actually scout it, but regardless, it was the opening, and I think I do poke around with the Ling before I do it. This Cyber Core, it should be part of the wall up here. Cyber Core, if you do Baneling bust it down, it can be extremely powerful, and means he can't make any sentries, but at the same time, use it to wall off. It's so much stronger than a pylon or a cannon. Anyway, you see, I mean, he's not really doing anything too special other than a couple really building mishaps and kind of random things with that. Go back to my base. I'll kind of show you what I do here. I'm doing a 11 pool, 19 hatch expand. It's kind of a build I kind of created a little bit. It's pretty much the same thing as 11, 18. Don't think too much different. It doesn't really matter what you do. I'm going to go ahead and scout out what he's doing. I get my initial 2 Lings. Get a couple other no, take that back. I get my initial 2 Lings. And now I'm going to play pretty much standard. Like, I'm not going to put too much emphasis on changing it up yet. Get my 2 Lings, keep scouting. Make sure you're not getting cannon rush, proxy, anything like that. Ling speed comes first, just like normal. However, very next 50 guess, you're going to want to get your Baneling nest. Only difference, really, than any other standard. Normally you'd see like an Evo Chamber, then a Roach Warren, but do that. And after you get Baneling nest, or really anytime after you get your initial 2 Zerglings, you want to just be only making drones. You want to get about 25 drones in. So you'll have your 25 drones, your 1 Ling, making 26 supply, plus your 2 Queens, getting you up to 30 supply. Once you see your counter says 30 supply, you just want to be making Lings. That's it. Remember, you have your initial 2 Zerglings out here, maybe 2 more, or actually, your initial 2 will probably be down here scouting, like this one is. You see me poking up the ramp. I'm going to pause this for a second before you see the engagement, because I want to talk about just a little bit more about setting this up. Generally, I don't think this player actually did this, and this is another time I say this is kind of a questionable decision by him. Generally, you have your 2 scouting Lings up here, denying any probes coming down, or anything fancy, making sure you're scouting out Zelnaga towers, etc. But usually, like, he'll go ahead and scout out first. He'll get his probe away, and it'll be somewhere around here. You'll be scouting for it, but you probably won't find it. And he's going to poke it again with it. I don't think this Protoss player did that. However, most of them will. This is where this is key. You'll see where both my hatcheries' rally points are. Up on the ramp where he's not going to scout. Keep those 2 Lings out here, scouting around there, hopefully to prevent the probe from coming out of the base, a new one. And you want 4 to 6 Lings down here. 4 is preferable. If he scouts 6, he might think something's up. 4 to 6 Lings down here. Make sure he can't get up that ramp no matter what. All the other Lings should be up on this ramp sitting and just waiting. I didn't do a good job of this. Look at that mineral line. This one, sure, saturation's actually pretty decent on it, considering I only got 3 guys on gas. And now both of my hatcheries are going to be rallying over to my natural. This is usually how I play anyway, but that's not how a lot of Zergs play. A lot of times they'll transfer over, and even if they don't transfer over, you saw how many Lings I had sitting here. This is where I didn't play well, and this is where you can improve on it. If he comes in here, and you kill his probe around this area, or this area, when he tries to scout, he might not see all your Lings, but you'll see, oh, he doesn't have many drones. He doesn't have any gas, and he hasn't been getting a lair. He probably scouted your 3rd and said he doesn't have a 3rd either. And he'll know right then there's going to be a Baneling bust. There's nothing else that's going to come out except maybe a Roach Warren, Roach push, but still you're going to have a lot more drones than this for a roach bush. But getting back into it, make sure, get some drones down here. Who cares if this is barely, I mean, say I took those drones right here. You'd only have a few here, but it's pretty much just switching the two up. It's going to look like you have a full mineral line here. It's going to look like you've been droning. And as long as he doesn't get up into the main and see these links, he's going to have no idea it's coming. Use your initial 2 Zerglings. Bring up a couple more. Keep checking Zelnaga towers. Scout around up this area. Make sure there's no probes coming out. Then you bring your lings up here. Your goal, I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can see when I decided to move my lings out. We'll get there in just a second. Okay, lings are coming up now. Your goal is to have about 200 to 250 gas saved up. Now, if you use a more gas-intensive build than I do, I don't get my gas until 20 supply. You might have this earlier than I do. I get this 200 gas about this time 720 mark. 200 to 250 gas is what you want. When you have that gas, start getting all your lings up here. Remember, you can keep spending larvae on drones because you do have on lings because you do have quite a few mineral intake. You have drones on minerals, but don't make too much. You don't want to delay this push any more than you really need to. Once you get everything up here, go ahead and play this. Get as many Banelings as you can. Notice I have lings up here. Going to be defending any sort of. Okay, he came back, but I'll probably throw someone else up there, I hope. Yep, this one's just going to be scouting around, seeing the front. But get as many Banelings as you can, and then keep making Zerglings. See, right now, I'm not the best multitasker. I'm just trying to scout out here, see what parts weaken as well. Do that with a ling. And now I got 16 more lings in the way, and I should be pumping pure ling from this point. Reason I'm pumping pure ling? I'll show you. Units tab, 35 workers, 24 workers. 2 base, 2 base. This push fails, there's no transitioning out of it. I lost the game. You lost the game, doesn't matter. I scouted out here. This wall is atrocious. I will completely admit that. However, it still works in many cases. Forge. Say forge 400. Total of 800 life. Banelings. 80 damage to structures. We'll bring up our little calculator here. So if our forge does, it's going to look like I don't know math, I know, but I'm going to do it for you anyway. Forge does 800 life. Divide that by 80 damage that each Baneling does to a structure. 10 Banelings. That's it. Only 10 Banelings is going to take to kill this. How many Banelings do I have? 9. Should have waited, should have made maybe a couple more Banelings. Completely admit it. Oh well. But, I mean, if it only has 80 life left, you can knock it down with Zerglings. It's not too big of a deal. Regardless, I should have delayed it a little bit. Keep that in mind. You need 10 Banelings to hit a forge to take it down. Gateway. Let's see, is it 500, 500? It is. 1,000 divided by 80. 12 and a half Banelings. You're going to need 13 Banelings to completely knock it down. Cybercore. 1100 divided by 80. 13.75. You'll need 14 Banelings to knock it down. See, 14 divided by 25 gas. Nope. 14 times 25 gas. 350 gas. If you're planning on taking down a Cybercore, you'll need 350 gas when you morph in your Banelings to actually kill it in one hit. Yes, lings can do a lot of damage to it too, but sentries can deflect that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Forge, like we said, 10 Banelings times 25 gas, 250 gas. So if you're going for a Forge, 250s, really all you need. One extra one's good in case the cannon kills one, whatever. Pylon, we'll get into that as well. 200, 400 divided by 80 damage is only 5 Banelings. 5 Banelings times 25 gas each, 125 gas. That's not much at all. I'll stop there because you guys can figure out everything else on your own. You see, cannon actually has less health than a pylon. Good. Those two can go down really easy. If you do wait and have the gas for it, Cybercore is a huge thing to knock down. Upgrading Forge, huge thing to knock down. Depending on how he's playing, Warp Gate isn't a bad idea either. How I usually engage this, which I didn't do this game, I kind of just ran in here prematurely because I knew there was holes and I knew I could just win the game right then. Move up with your Lings. Target something with your Banelings, whether it be a Forge, Gateway, Pylon, Cannon, Zealot, Clump, wherever that may be, anything. Target that, move up with your Lings, go somewhere that your Banelings aren't going. So, in this situation, I should have my Banelings going here. In this area, I would be moving with my Lings here. Obviously, I didn't because I saw I didn't have to. Pardon me. When you get your Lings over here, any good Protoss is going to put down a force field right in that spot. This will let you have one less force field you have to avoid when your Banelings come in. I'll get into it after. Notice this time, I'm just going to run in here with everything because I know I can win it. Go ahead and play. Close that down because you don't need the time. Yeah, I will show you time. 8 minutes is the time this hits, which is way later than any old one-base Baneling bust ever hit in the past, which means no one's going to be expecting it this late in the game. And you'll see here, I'll speed it up for a little bit, and you'll see my Lings just keep crushing. I'm going to just keep making Lings. I don't care about the Zealots unless you're in a huge clump. That's fine. You will kill them. Don't worry about it. If he has a ton of Zealots, sure. Micro around him, go to the mineral line. Just pause that. I'm going to back up to right when I'm going to engage. I guess that's the 8 minute mark. 750 is fine for me. Things to worry about with this build. And really a big build order loss that can come into mind. If he plays standard enough, when you're hitting, his Warp Gate should be just opening now. Around the 8 minute mark on the Forge Fast Expand. See that. After that gateway opens, a lot of Protosses are going to start warping in sentries. If they're good. This guy, he was going for an all-in build, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, maybe not. Yeah, 5 gate, that's not an all-in. He's going to probably add on something after it. Or maybe expand out of it. I don't know. Regardless, any good Protoss gonna get sentries out of this. Any type of Forge Fast Expand, if they're playing safe, they will get sentries. If they have 3 sentries, pardon me, I get a little bit of cold. If they have 3 sentries and good control, they can make you lose the game. Put down force fields here, especially if this is a full wall to the Nexus like it should be. He should have a cannon right here. He'll just keep stopping you from hitting in here where you want to with force fields, stop you from running around over here with force fields. Let the cannons do the damage. You will lose the game. This is especially true on maps like Shakur's Plateau, where there's a little ramp, and you can easily just wall in with gateways. A couple sentries with force fields, you lost the game. Watch out for that. Be careful. If you see a bunch of sentries coming out, I mean, you've already committed yourself to it, but that is the biggest thing you have to worry about. And that's why, really, in most cases, you want to take your Banelings, find out where they want to go, and then kind of harass in a different area with the Lings, kind of throw them off, maybe bait off one extra force fields, and then come back to that area with the Lings. Again, this one I didn't have to, as we know. It's fine. We'll go on normal speed just so you can see how this happens. But good thing about this timing, anywhere in between 8 minutes and 9 minutes, he'll have about 1 warp in usually. He was going with sentries. If you get those sentries out, could be tough. I don't know why he's pulling probe against Banelings. Generally, those Banelings are probably going to want to hit something else, but If I kill all those probes, I'm happy with that anyway. Lings got through before any force fields came off. Make sure you run them as fast as you can. Right here, I thought about like trying to fix this. He had a good position. I didn't really care all that much. I know he's gonna lose here. In another situation, a more normal one, Zealots are slow. Don't worry about them. Run away. See, I took out that just so he couldn't get his... Take out pylons if you can, so he can't warp anything in. He's warping in Zealots here. He probably should be warping in Sentries. It's hard to do as a toss player, but I'm going to be doing it. And I'm just going to run around and try to do whatever I need to do to stop him mining. Whether that's killing probes, or whether that's getting in the mineral line and just making him run away. Either one's completely fine. As long as the probes leave and are not mining, that'll make sure he can't warp anything in. Once you get into the base, make sure you're going for pylons, make sure you're going for probes. If he has a small army and you can kill it, kill it. The time it takes him to warp another round in, you're going to have a ton more Zerglings, and that's going to be all you really need. You already have a huge hole open in the front, hopefully. Get that hole, get in there, and if he gets an extra warp in, whatever, you got more Banelings in the way. If he warps in a ton of Zealots, maybe say he got a nice warp in, got a line here, take your time. There's no need to rush here. You have units in just as quickly as he's getting units in. Take your time, take your Lings back, get Banelings. A lot of situations you won't need the Banelings. Pretty much 90% of the situations you won't need the Banelings. But if you get into his base and you see that you need him, don't worry about it. Take your time. He's not going to be able to reinforce all that fast. What else was I going to say? Like I said, go for pylons. The other thing, really, really, really important. Macro mechanics. Yes, it's a cheese build. Yes, you need to keep up in your macro. Queens, make sure you're getting those injects. See, I got 34 and 31 energy on here. It's going to take another, what is that, another 4. So, the worst one, 35 energy, 34 energy, 38. 38 minus 25, that's going to go in there. Minus 25, 13 energy. That's not perfect. Make sure you're doing the best you can. But still, half the reason why this was so powerful, other than his mistakes, was because I am keeping up on my injects. Look, I have almost 400 minerals. 350 minerals saved up right there. I'm going to need those minerals to get these Lings in, sure, but I need to keep hitting my injects so I can spend those minerals. You get minerals a lot quicker than you think you would in this. Yeah, you don't have many drones, but you still have enough to pump out enough Zerglings. Other thing, don't get supply blocked. If my initial hit comes in here, he gets those 2 Zealots, I say, you know, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go kill those Zealots, whatever. And then he gets out a little army, pushing me back. I'm supply blocked. Now he has a chance to hold this bush. Granted, I killed those Banelings in this situation. Most of those situations, that's not going to happen. Make sure you're not getting supply blocked. That could lose you the game after you've already won it. Mass, be careful. Like I said earlier, Shakuras Plateau, small ramp, small choke. Not good. Ramps, chokes make this a little bit harder. Protoss players, if they wall off their Nexus, that makes it harder. If you're on, say, Antigua Shipyard, Baneling busts through the front, honestly, he has cannons there, so what? Unless it's a perfect position, and usually it isn't, you can just run right by it. It doesn't mean anything. If you have enough Lings and you feel like killing it, sure, but you don't need to. You can just run to the main base and kill all his gateways. You're fine. If he walls off to his Nexus, well, now his cannon's right here. He's going to shoot at you while you're trying to run past. He's going to have the force fields made to close up all these chokes. That's made smaller by having cannons here, by having buildings here. Be careful. Got to play it safe. Got to actually hit where you want to hit, where is most beneficial, and where you can continue to do damage after. If this is a wall off somewhere out here, maybe in a different map, where it's out away from the Nexus, just bust a hole in it. I don't care where it is. Bust a hole and you're just going to run right by everything anyway. The Nexus is tough. Watch out for sentries. Make sure you're baiting out force fields if he has enough sentries to hold it. Really, 4 sentries is all you need to indefinitely force field a ramp. This isn't a ramp. There's multiple points of entry. A good Protoss is going to have a cannon here, good cannon here. He's going to have to put down a force field here, put down a force field. He's going to need 8 sentries, which they can easily do once their warp gate's done and warp in sentries. Be careful. Make sure you're baiting out those force fields early, and make sure you can finally hit an area when he doesn't have one before you get reinforcements. Watch out for sentries. Watch out for maps that don't work well. Really, the only way he's going to hold a push like this is if he goes sentries, which most Protosses will, especially with today's metagame. If he doesn't get these gateways, tries to go for Forge Fast Expand into Stargate play, you win. If he doesn't get these gateways, goes into quick DT play, you win. Make sure if you see anything other than gateways in the base, unless it's a robo, see anything other than that in your base, when you get in, get down an Evo Chamber ASAP, then get down Spore Crawlers and be ready to retreat and defend it. Other than that, really this is pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions, feel free to post on this thread. I'll upload it to YouTube, so I'll just put a link to the thread there. Check out infgaming.net if you are just catching on this replay, this video for some other reason. Most people watching this will be on infgaming.net. Just reply on the thread, see what you think about it. Any high-level Protoss players can talk about how you avoid it. Any other high-level Zergs that use this kind of cheesy build like I do, talk about any other ideas that make this stronger or things you need to work out on. Let's get a discussion going. What do you think? How can you use it in play? Maybe in opinions. Is this something you should be doing on ladder? Is it kind of cheesy? You just shouldn't be cheesing on ladder? Whatever you think. Personally, I think if you have the opportunity to end the game, do it. Then again, I completely agree that I'm cheesy. So, anyway, that's all I have for this video. 25 drone Baneling bust. I kind of talked about it earlier, but really, any build you want to do this out of, it's a transition. All you gotta do is keep guys on gas after link speed, get down a Baneling nest ASAP, make Banelings and links. Obviously the stuff earlier. Keep a few links here to stop scouting. Hide the rest of them in your base. If he sees those links, you lose. Other than that, that's all I have. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this is a series that continues, not only with me, but other members of the community. Love you guys. Have a good one.